So welcome to Film Fanatics. My name's Natasha.
I'm Shannon.
And this is our re-recording of the last vlog that we had done with the group. The footage just isn't usable, so we're re-recording it. And we're going to be doing our review of The End of the Effing World. That is on Netflix and is also on all four. So depending on if you have Netflix, if you don't and you're a UK citizen, you can gain access to the show on there. So we're just going to explain our opinions to you guys, and then we're going to mention what the other members of the group have said, so that whilst they're not physically here, we can just express their opinion for them. So do you want to start?
Yeah, so I really like the show. I've already seen it, so I've seen the whole series. And it essentially follows two main characters, James and Alyssa. And James believes he's a psychopath as he wants to kill someone. And then Alyssa has her own issues with being kind of ignored in her family, so she kind of craves attention. And she comes into James's life, and he decides that she's the one that he wants to kill. So the whole group watched the first episode together, and that ends with them kind of setting up the rest of the series, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's a 2.5 hour long series, so it's not particularly long. It's about 20 minutes an episode. I think the last one is the longest one out of all of them. And there are questions about whether there will be a series 2, just because of the way it has ended. They haven't confirmed if there will be. And I read someone else's blog, which was quite interesting, and it's saying like the way it ends, if you believe that the character hasn't come to harm,
Yeah.
you believe in like second chances, and you believe like there potentially could be a second series. But if you think that that's it, like that it is bad, they've died, then it means that you think that, like, I don't know, it was interestingly said. I'll put there's a link to that person's blog in my blog, and I'll put a link to all of our blogs in the description bar below if you want to go check them out. But basically it's kind of about, it's a teen comedy. That's the genre that the series fits itself into. And you basically have two main characters, James and Alyssa, who are like chalk and cheese, but they have some similarities between them. And I don't think they realise how much they sort of help each other out in a really weird way.
Yeah.
So they kind of set themselves up to, like, you see the backstory in the beginning, and it's more like they're trying to provoke each other, and it's trying to get it's not started the story yet in the first episode. The story starts after the second episode of the series starts, if that makes sense. So like you just kind of get a little bit of a prelude to what's actually going on. Like they're just kind of showing like why they are the way they are. Like James never tells Alyssa that his mum committed suicide in front of her. He doesn't want to tell her, but that's like what's mentally disturbed him throughout his life, and he's had a passion for killing animals, and he recalls all the animals he's killed, and it just makes him wonder what it's like to kill a human, because he's obviously seen his mum kill herself. So I think it's just kind of been at the back of his head, and he's always been a bit difficult with his father. His relationship with his father is not great, but he puts up with him. And Alyssa comes in 2 seconds and is like, your dad's a bit of a prick, isn't he? And like all of that. So she just kind of comes in and just I think she's a bit of fresh air for him. But like you said, she craves family attention. Like her parents are split up, and her mum's got a really weird relationship with her, because it's quite strange, because her stepfather is a bit he's a bit of a pervert, so he flirts with Alyssa, and he like hits on her, and her mum has seen this, so it kind of affects their relationship. They're not close, and she doesn't really.
Her mum kind of ignores it because she likes the lifestyle that he can give her.
Yeah, and she doesn't want to ruin that for her new children that she's got with him. And Alyssa just sees through it all, and she just thinks it's all like a load of rubbish, and her mum just doesn't want to admit to it. And then when Alyssa runs away, I think that's when she realises that she's really messed up with Alyssa, and the fact that Alyssa could just up and leave, and she doesn't care about leaving behind her mum and stuff. I think that really affects her, as you see, like as the story progresses, when it comes back to her relationship with her mum, it's very strained, and there's just not much going on.
Yeah, her mum is very much in denial at the beginning that she's even run away.
Yeah.
Just because she doesn't realise.
No, I think she's just a bit selfish.
Yeah.
And then she kind of wonders why Liz has become so selfish herself, and it's like, well, if you aren't going to care for me, then I'm just going to go look after myself. And she just doesn't care what they do. Like, they eventually get themselves into some sort of trouble. I don't want to say what it is, because if you haven't watched it, you really should go watch it. Loads of my friends, like outside of this group that we meet up, have actually watched it and have said how much they like it. So I do think that whilst the two of us are saying that we like it, there were 4 of us, 5 of us who watched it, and the rest of them did like it. But other people outside of this group that I know have watched it. Have any of your friends watched? Yeah. So like, it is a good show. Part of me wants there to be a season 2, because I do want to know what's happened. Like, we are left on a major cliffhanger, and like I said about the blog before, the person who wrote about it said, like, you know, if you don't believe something bad's happened, then you believe in second chances. If not, then you just believe that, you know, they've paid for their like sins, and you know, how it was coming to them, and you knew it was going to happen. Like, the whole time you knew that end scene was coming, and even the characters themselves knew. You just didn't know when. And I think the fact that, because they do get involved with the police. I mean, that's not giving too much away, but they do get involved with the police, and you know at the end it's going to get them involved, either getting caught by the police. And
I think the way they leave it doesn't affect negatively if they don't make a second season, because it is fairly wrapped up. But they've given themselves the opportunity to create a second season if they're. I think
that's what most TV shows do. They don't shoot themselves in the foot by not producing a cliffhanger that keeps an audience waiting. But then they don't. Then if they don't come back to it, I think as a season it's good.
Yeah.
But I just think because it's so short and you just want to know a little bit more about them, I think that's what keeps them going. They haven't announced if there will be, so if there is, then I'll be really happy. But if not, I think I can just accept the fact that the way it's ended, it's just the way it's meant to be, and I think it just adds to the styling of the film.
Yeah.
Like, if that's the way they choose to leave it, it's just a very like Alyssa and James thing, like, oh, we could be bothered to make another one, just leave it as it is. But yeah, I think the theming of it's really good, the humour of it, the comedy, you know, lightens up the fact that obviously James is a psychopath. He does want to kill somebody. He has killed animals, and there is a theme of animals being killed throughout the entire series. So if you don't like animal cruelty, you might not like that, but it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is a running theme, but it's in a light-hearted way. You don't like see it in a gruesome way.
No, you don't see it happen. You're pretty much just
it's happened.
Told.
Yeah, you're told, and you see the after effect rather than the action of it happening. But yeah, I really liked it, and I think that it was a really good way to kind of end our final meet-up with the group. But yeah, like I said, this is our last vlog, so thank you so much if you have been watching our videos. It's not necessarily the end for Film Fanatics, I don't know, we might come back together for some point in the future, who knows. But if you liked our videos, feel free to watch some of our previous ones. And yeah, thank you so much. I think that's all we have to say, really. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Bye.